Hello everyone, welcome back to the fourth episode of the Bonnies Breakaway. I'm Ryan Addeo, joined alongside Bonnies men's soccer head coach Mick Giordano. Obviously, crushing defeat on Saturday, but how are you doing today? You okay?
Yeah, Ryan, we're doing all right, man. We're doing all right. Look, the sun came up.
Right.
The next opportunity comes to us, and look, our maybe one storyline in our chapter has unfortunately ended earlier than we want, but our chapter hasn't ended yet, and
right.
we've still got more to write as we go into this last week and as we move forward in this last week of everything. So, that's just the way it falls sometimes. That's athletics. That's sport at the highest
Right.
level. So, yeah, but we're managing, my friend. We're managing.
I hear you. I was devastated as well. I won't lie to you, but obviously, like I said, not the result you were looking for.
Yeah.
Was there anything, or what was said in the locker room following Saturday's game?
Yeah, I just wanted to really express to the group again, first directly talking to the seniors and the grad guys about their impact and about what they've helped start here, and the foundations of what they helped start, and that when we do have success and when we are able to move forward, that they need to understand that they were a part of that. Mm-hmm. While they may not be there physically with us, but they were a part of it, and without them we wouldn't be where we're moving.
Right.
So that was the first thing, was just wanting to address them and thank them for everything that they've done for this program, whether they've been here for 4 years or just 1 year or a couple months, whatever it might be. Second was just speaking to the entire group about understanding what that moment meant, mm-hmm. And embracing what those feelings were, and not trying to push anything off or find an excuse or not embrace what that moment was for every single individual, regardless of how it came about.
Right.
And the reason for that being, if we can make sure we understand it and we can embrace it, we're going to do everything we possibly can as competitors to not have that feeling happen again.
Yeah.
And understanding that every single team needs to be circled for us next year internally. Mm-hmm. We need to have a chip on our shoulder, and we need to remember that feeling when we get Salle again next year, of how that felt afterwards, and seeing their celebration, rightfully earned, right. But seeing their celebration needs to move us internally to want to go do more, give more, produce more, every single aspect of what is talked about to build a proper performance and to build as much as you can in the correct direction to find success. So those were just the two biggest things we tried to stress to the entire group post-game.
Yeah, absolutely. But kind of following up on that, was there anything said to you or maybe said by a coach or a player that kind of stood out to you that you remember really?
Yeah, I know a few of the boys, and wrongfully so, a few of the boys came up to me and said, like, they were sorry that they let me down. And while I appreciate that, I made sure all of them know that none of them let me or the staff or any of us down. Every single one of them we are beyond proud of for the mentality and the work rate and the grit of what they tried to go and do, and how we never stopped working and we never gave up ever whenever we did go down. So there's a couple of those which, again, I'm beyond honored that they would even want to go down that path, but made sure they know, like, none of us are disappointed in any of them. We did everything we could. We gave it our best effort. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but that does happen. And whether we're talking sport or life, sometimes, our best, we can only give our best, and that's all anyone can ask for.
Right.
If it comes up short, it comes up short. We learn why, we try to get better, we try to adjust and fix it for the future. But by all means, it was just certainly a lot of heartbreak for the boys, and
yeah, I'm sure.
all their belief, and you could tell their belief and how they had that belief, because they never stopped going. Right. And they never stopped trying. They never gave in, never stopped with the mentality of we have to do more and everything. So, that was certainly something. Had one or two coaches a message and said, hey, you guys are further along in the process and in your process than what maybe the record shows, and the data will speak to that and whatnot, and a couple of nice messages on that side. Admin here had some really, really nice things to say to myself and to the group, just about we have moved forward, and results don't always define us.
Right.
Not at least about your identity. Sometimes they might define a team's success or lack of success, but they don't define the true full measurement of what you can define success for as a program. So, we've got a lot of areas that we talk about where we find success. Community service,
right.
Doing stuff in the community to better it, not for praise, not for recognition, but just to better the world around us. Our academic success of what we need to have, and then of course our footballing success. And we don't want to fail or come short in any of them, and sometimes you do. Again, that's just life.
Right.
So admin kind of really wanted to make sure that we all understood that as well, and that we understood this may be not what you aspire for, but also know it's not a complete failure. It's not something that you all need to hang your heads on. It's just stuff we just have to keep moving forward with and keep the process moving forward.
Yeah. Like you said, nothing you can do, but it definitely speaks volumes. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but what was the main takeaway from that LaSalle game?
I think the biggest one again is just the willingness and the work rate. We looked at post-match, looked at some of the data in our pressing side, and the defending was really good outside of 3 overall moments, and they took 2 of those. They missed one of them, and they took 2 of those. And on the attacking side, we created a lot of chances. Unfortunately, we only took 1 and didn't make the most out of the other. So really similar components to some of the things we felt other times this year. We're doing some good things on the ball. We're doing some decent things out of possession, but we're still just coming a little bit short in some of the small moments. And that just needs to be more coaching, more diving in with individual players, and more diving in with them, whether it's on film or on the field, to keep coaching and trying to get them better. The longer our process goes and the more time that we get with this group and everything. But I think the biggest thing is just the willingness to keep going. They didn't give up very easily with just over 6 minutes left.
Yeah,
very easily could have crumbled, and the boys didn't. They didn't. They got back up and they kept going, which is a big sign of their character and who they are, not just as footballers, but as people too.
Right, absolutely. And then, of course, it was senior night.
Yes.
Can you just talk about the seniors and how much the leaders have really meant to this team?
Oh, it's unbelievable. We kind of had it staged a little bit in regards to some of our newer seniors first, and then we had some of our 4-year guys when we were doing the ceremony and everything, and we had some of our 4-year guys towards the end of it. And it's always a special thing, regardless if you were the individual to recruit them or not. But to see the 4-year student athlete be recognized, because it's a hard thing to do, especially when it's a lot of ups and downs, as our program has had in the past, where you've seen some of the good and the bad, but to have those 4 stick it out through everything and keep pressing forward and buying in and trying to get to the next level, trying to help the program get to the next levels is certainly special. And then, like I said, then you've got some of your other guys that have been here again, some for 2 years, 1 for a year, or 2 for a year now, some just for a month.
Right.
It's always wonderful to be able to honor them, regardless of their time, but they've all made an impact on the program.
Yeah.
And so they've earned that recognition and that ability to have someone pat them on the back and tell them what a good job they've done, and congratulations on it, especially with how everything we're doing and where we're trying to move the program. it's a really, really difficult process right now.
Right.
It's really tough on the guys because of the demands of what we have for everything, and everything has to basically be as near perfect as possible.
Yeah.
And our training sessions are intense, and the days are long, and some days you have, double film sessions, or you might have a team session in the morning, an individual session in the afternoon. So it is challenging, and they do a lot more than the majority of the country with it, but all of them bought in. So it is one of those where you want to honor them for that sacrifice and the hard work of what they've done, and their hard work maybe is overshadowed a little bit with the result, but it is certainly something that we just wanted them to feel how special they are and how much they mean to us.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Your first year with a couple of seniors, obviously they've spent 4 years here. Mm-hmm. Was there anything that maybe you learned from them in your time? In your
100, no, 100%. And had a conversation with one of them very briefly, but over text a little bit on just thanking him for everything he's taught me, whether that is about Bonaventure itself.
Right.
I mean, I still remember coming in on a Wednesday night, middle of April, driving up the 12 hours, checked into the hotel, drove across the street, and we had training at 8 o'clock at night. And it was my first session taking over, and I had no idea where anything was.
Right.
And the first guys that were out there helping, while the entire group was helpful, some of the first guys were the seniors and the older group that is now graduating, to help make sure everything was sorted, and then having numerous meetings over the first really 3 days, but especially the first week of being here. A lot of them were with those older guys on just getting their experience and getting their insights on, whether it's how something works or how something did work or how they felt. And so this senior class, especially the guys that have been here for 4 years, were really impactful and being a bridge from myself to the past, and also being able to kind of give that information on, all right, well, this is maybe how something had worked before. Hey, maybe here's an idea, or hey, boys, this is how it worked before. You said, what about this? Oh, yeah, that would actually be better. They were really impactful with helping shape our culture. So, the amount of things that I was able to learn from them about not only our program, but the university, and a lot of our culture right now and our day-to-day is shaped off of different things they may have said, good, bad, indifferent, everything behind it. Right. It's always just an adjustment, and it's always just in trying to elevate. It's not for better or for worse, but them trying to adjust and elevate the program taught me several things just about their own character, their own leadership, and what it really takes to have to be here,
right,
and have that opportunity to be here, but then also to be successful too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, 2 seniors in on that first goal, Seth Hammond, Avery Treesky. Talk about their impact in the game, and I mean, the seniors' impact in the game as well.
No, 100%. I mean, Avery. It's a sad time for us to lose him, because he scored against Dayton, and then he scored again against the Salle. We're hoping he makes it 3 for 3 this coming weekend. Against Fordham, he's cracking that goal scoring streak now. So wonderful for him. Everything he's kind of gone through, and the resiliency, especially this season, with a couple small knocks, and get himself going, playing a different position, but beyond excited and proud of him to be able to get his second career goal and kept us in it. We're going to miss Seth in so many ways, to really say the least. I know obviously I'll miss the special relationship him and I have that we've been able to form over the last 3 years, and him just always contributing. We're gonna have to really get our recruiting right to find someone to try and help us in similar ways, because we know we'll never replace him or any of the seniors in the same capacity. No one will ever be able to take and fit into the shoes of where they were. But we need to be able to find some guys that can bring some similar qualities and bring their own kind of advancement of what they can do and their own enhancement of what they can be able to contribute to the program. But we're certainly going to miss Seth and him constantly stepping up for us, and the other seniors as well. Dean going a full 90 again, battling through middle of the second half, battling through some cramps and getting himself going through there. There's just another guy that again has really stepped up and done a lot for us this year and everything. So couldn't be more proud of that group, and especially just their buy-in. And it would have been very easy for all of them just to go, oh, well, I've got 1 year, not really too worried about it. My time is going to be done regardless. I don't really need to buy into this new program or new culture or anything. And none of them did that. None of them wavered from a different challenge. So like I said, just really, I can't speak highly enough of every single one of them.
Right. And of course, unfortunately, it was the last home game of the season as well. What are you going to miss most about the Mara Complex after this year is over? And how do you think the support was at home?
Look, I'll start with the support. Thought it was good for sure. Yeah, the last two we had a little bit smaller crowds, and it's fair enough. George Mason was dumping rain majority of it, and then senior night was quite cold, and I think George Mason also fell on fall break. But anyway, we still had decent crowds and decent support. Especially early in the year, we were getting a few hundred there, 400 to 600, somewhere in that range. So it was wonderful on that side. We can only hope that we've piqued everyone's interest enough of where we're going and what we're trying to do. And while the results didn't necessarily go the way we would want it, in the way that usually get a lot of people excited, we can only hope that everyone gives us a chance next year to show the excitement of what we're going to do and what we're going to have on the field to come back out and support us, and then to keep those crowds big, and to keep those, because when the crowds were larger, they played a massive important role, and the boys felt the energy. So that was wonderful. We'll certainly miss being at home on our turf, and just having that luxury of being in a comfort of what and a comfort of locker room is here. This is a 60-second walk here. This is how this will go. Okay, we know. All right, if we, this bounce comes into this side of it, or the turf rolls this way. When it's a little bit slicker, we know we can speed the tempo up. Right. So we'll certainly miss being at home and miss that opportunity. Being at home in the spotlight, I guess I should say. But it's even more motivation for us to need to work harder, and us to need to make sure that we can come back stronger and better next fall, because when we get that opportunity again, we need to relish it, and we need to really cherish it. I think all of us have seen just how quickly it does go. This fall has gone, and the season's gone beyond quick, maybe the quickest I've ever been a part of in regards to what it feels like and how quickly it moves. So that's just something that we just all have to really embrace, and again, know when we get to be at home in Mara, make the most of it. Let's make this thing a fortress and continue to try and focus on that side.
Yeah, I mean, they say when time flies, you're having fun, so that's clearly a good thing, I suppose.
100%.
Did you have a favorite home moment this season?
It would certainly be easy to say our derby win against Canisius, for sure. Or the comeback against George Washington. If I'm honest, I think one of my favorite moments was our very first session at home when we had our beep test, and we set a pretty lofty goal of everyone that was being healthy needed to hit a certain mark for us to come in healthy and to come in fit and everything, and they didn't need to come in overly fit, but we needed to come in a certain mark and certain number, and everyone hit that. So I know that's not a game. That's certainly one of my favorite moments, because it kind of set the tone and the intent of what the group was coming in to do. There was a lot of really fun goals at home this year. The George Mason game, while it didn't end our way, had some really crazy moments, and some wonderful goals scored into that. Like I said, Canisius had some wonderful ones. Both of the goals against George Washington. So we're fortunate. We scored some really good goals and had some really good moments. You know, the Niagara goal right out of half. Mm-hmm. But I think my number one right now is that intent of the group to show this is our standard, this is where we're going to go, and this is what we're going to do. And we're just going to go do the work and get it done. We're not going to talk about it, but we're just going to go do it. That's probably my favorite moment, I would have to say right now, as it just set off our program in the correct direction of where we want to go and the vision of where we are trying to get to.
Yeah, I love it. But then, obviously, last question about last game.
Yeah.
LaSalle scores with just 6 minutes to go. I mean, what's going through your mind at that time, and how did you kind of keep the hopes alive?
Yeah, at that point in time, as a staff, you can't get too emotional one way or another, because if the group sees you get tense or get emotional, then they're going to get tense and they're going to get nervous. You just have to do your best to stay level-headed, and by no means am I perfect at that or anything, but I try every day to practice that, and every day with the staff we're trying to get better, whether it's through trainings or in the game environment. So that was number one. When we saw the goal, looked at the time and went, okay, well, that's not ideal, boys, but we have to get going again, and it's not over yet, and it's not done yet, and we've shown we can score goals in a hurry. So it was just about getting back to it and knowing they were probably going to sit back, fair enough, as they did. And fair enough that it's not just a single thing there. It's just some of the tactics behind it and intelligent tactics behind it. So it was about us staying patient and just keep trying to create chances, which we did. And we kept going, you know, and I think the biggest thing was just the boys seeing calmness to know, okay, we're okay, give it our best. Just go see what happens. Right. Instead of crumbling, instead of losing our minds, instead of freaking out and yelling and screaming at people, it was more just about stay calm, let's go see what we can make happen. And if we can get something to fall, brilliant. If not, well, at least we gave it our best go. Yeah, that was the biggest thing.
And then, of course, it came down to that really close review. I mean, what was kind of going through your mind with that? What were you kind of saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a tough one. By all means, I would say they probably got it correct for sure. It was a tough one because the film we were looking at, he certainly looked offside, but you know, having seen it back on a couple different angles and a couple different cameras, you know, I would say that they certainly probably made the correct call there. And that was just all I was kind of talking to them about was just like, what are you seeing? And just wanting to have an explanation of like what's going on. Because again, we were seeing one camera feed from our Speedio that's different from the ESPN, which they were using. And our Speedio was kind of showing a different angle of it, which again, it was hard to completely see where the ball was and when it was struck and whatnot. But I think at the end of it, you know, they certainly did their jobs well, a good officiating crew, and got that one correct. And it was full credit to LaSalle. Probably would have been really hard done by if that got overturned and was accounted for them.
Yeah, and then of course next game hit the road against Fordham. I don't want to say it's a meaningless game, but there's no implications to it. Yep. Does your coaching philosophy change or the lineup change at all, or will anyone get some time that maybe hasn't in the past?
What I'll say is probably what you already know about me, Ryan, is I'm a competitor no matter what. Our staff are competitors no matter what. We want to win any opportunity we get. Sending out the seniors on a win would be pretty special, or at least picking up some sort of point on the road. Right. You know, a couple of our seniors talked in a team meeting yesterday, and one of them brought up the fact of the last 2 years, unfortunately, have ended in pretty heavy defeats. And the seniors ending their careers that way, and that's not the goal of what we're trying to get after. Yeah. So for us, the message from day one, from Sunday afternoon when we came back into work in a recovery session before we took Monday off, and then Tuesday morning when we came back into work, was earn the right and the opportunity to go travel, earn the right and the opportunity to wear the badge one more time for the fall, and earn the right and the opportunity to go be selected and make the most out of it. Yeah. You know, nothing in this world for for any of us is ever going to be handed to us. And that's not the life lesson we will want to teach anyone. So by no means are we just going out and just handing around minutes just because it's going to be who earns it this week in training and who goes and makes the most of their opportunities that will get themselves onto the bus to travel and then go play. Because our postseason implications might be limited to none for sure. They certainly have some on their side as Fordham does with trying to host a home game. For us, it's about long-term vision. And if we give up this moment and this opportunity and we don't make the most of it, then our process hasn't moved forward.
Right.
Doesn't mean we won't lose. If we lose and we've done everything we've tried and we've been the best version of ourselves like I've talked about, then fair enough. Hold our hands up, say, hey, well done. You were better than us on the day. Fair enough. But if we're not the best version of ourselves this entire week leading up into it and then going and attacking the game, then we're not being true to what we're trying to do and the process of what we're trying to create and the culture of what we're trying to create. So we're going to try and win the thing. We are going to go after it and do everything we can to try and put the boys in the best position and be able to be on the front foot, knowing that it's a good team, knowing that certainly we haven't beaten Fordham since 2002, and it's one of those challenging ones.
Okay.
Doesn't mean we can't go end it on a positive note and go get after him though. So that's been the message from that first moment, and that will keep being the message till that final whistle is you go to battle, we go to work and go get after them and give nothing less than your best.
Yeah, love it. Hope you guys get to play spoilers. Hope you get one more for the boys, of course. But that's all for me. Thanks for being here and doing this again, of course. But the Bonnies will hit the road for their final contest of the season against Fordham. Kickoff is set for 5 p.m. streaming on ESPN+. For Mick Giordano, Ryan Addeo, and producer Chris Russell, this has been the Bonnies Breakaway on the Bonnies Online Network. Thank you for listening.